Hi. So what we're doing is we are working on some formative concepts to get ready for our mandala. Our mandala is going to end up being a radial design. We're going to do a modern take on it, and the finished mandala will be summative. So everything that we've worked up to so far is going to be formative. At this point, what you should have is that sheet of paper that has 30 squares on it. 15 of those squares you have practiced doing patterns using a pencil. The other 15 you have practiced using a Sharpie creating those patterns. The next step is we are going to apply those and implement them into a radial design so that you are able to practice getting those patterns into a shape other than a square, and also practice what they look like next to each other or across from each other. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to need your sheet with 30. You're going to need this concentric circle radial design. You'll need your pencil and you will need your Sharpie. And you're going to look through your patterns and you are going to first decide which 8 are your best designs, okay? Because for your next formative and for your summative, you only need 8 patterns. So I have these samples and I want to give you an idea as what patterns are good to choose from and which patterns you should probably stay away from. Let's take a look at this one right here. Okay, this one right here, it's got squiggly lines and then it has dots. Imagine when we are finished, we are going to add color to this. And each pattern is going to have a different color scheme. Ask yourself, how many different colors can I apply in this pattern? If I look at this pattern, I can only apply one color. And it's probably not going to emphasize what pattern is. Potentially, if you use a dark color, that black Sharpie is going to disappear. So I would stay away from any pattern that only allows one color. Okay, taking a look at this pattern right here. Okay, in addition to it only being able to hold one color, it's really heavy with that black. Okay, so I would stay away from a pattern that looks like this. However, the one on top of it would be an excellent candidate to choose. You'll notice that the pattern is very clear. You can apply potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 colors. Okay, this would be an exciting pattern to see drawn out. Okay, let's see some other examples. Taking a look at these two. Okay, they're right next to each other. If you chose 2 patterns and they have a lot of black to it, okay? Each of these is about 50% black, 50% white. And if you had these together next to each other, they're from far away, they're going to look a lot alike. So I would stay away from patterns that have a lot of, I call it heaviness, a lot of weight to it, because there's so much black. So maybe stay away from too many patterns that look like this. Maybe having one pattern with a lot of black or 50% white, 50% black, one would be enough, okay? Taking a look over here. Let's talk about proportion and size, okay? This one is itty bitty, okay? You want to make sure that you're choosing a variety of sizes, okay? So this one is itty bitty, and that just means that it's kind of, imagine zooming in, okay? Or zooming out. This has a lot to it, and you don't want to choose something next to it that is also teeny tiny, okay? Another example of one that's teeny tiny would be this, okay? If you have too many that are condensed and small, it's just not going to have a lot of variety. We want to have some contrast. We want to see some things doing different, okay? So, once again, choose your best 8. Maybe some of them are geometric, maybe some of them are organic. Okay, I'm going to write down these key words: organic, geometric. All right, geometric, you know, if a pattern has a lot of triangles or circles in it, straight lines, geometric means that it has a math formula that can go along with it. Do I know what that math formula is? Of course not. And then geometric or organic is going to be more free form. Okay. Once again, we are looking for different patterns. You want to have a variety of sizes. Okay. Remember, we looked at that itty bitty one, and then imagine one that had a lot of bigness to it. Okay. And a variety of weight. Meaning, like if it's 50% white, 50% black, okay? So the big key word is contrast and variety when you're choosing your 8 patterns, all right? So you've got your 8. Now what you're going to do is you are going to plug them in to this design. All right, this is formative. This is not what our summative is going to look like. For our summative, we're going to do a modern take on it, and that will be the next video. So next, you want to plug in those patterns. And you might have to pay attention to the shape in which they are drawn, okay? If you want to practice with pencil first, that's totally up to you. But in a regular pattern, imagine that you were doing those, you're working in the square. You would have vertical lines and horizontal lines. Because we're plugging this into an irregular shape, you might need to curve them. Okay, so I curved that one. And these are they're not necessarily parallel. Okay, and then I would continue drawing this pattern, and the next place I'm going to put this pattern is directly across. Okay, so that same pattern is going to go in this area, and I would draw that out. Now remember, we discussed choosing patterns that are not too easy, not too simple. Okay, so instead of doing like that checkerboard, we talked about adding the next step to it. I'm distracted by wanting to include everything, so my drawing right now is not as good as it could be. I'm not real focused. Okay, so there is, ooh, look, I made a mistake, okay? And I already told you I was distracted. You can tell that I've made the mistake because it should really go in this direction. So that's why working with the Sharpie, you really have to focus, okay? Next, you would do your next pattern, pick a spot for it, and then fill your entire area until you have all 8 of yours represented. To kind of give you an idea, if that's pattern 1, pattern 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. Okay? And then just plug them in. Have fun.